You probably remember Phineas and Ferb, right? That one cartoon where every summer day felt like pure magic, where two kids built roller coasters in the backyard and somehow their pet platypus was also a secret agent. It was fun, it was weird, it had bangers, and honestly, it was kind of perfect. For a lot of us, this show wasn't just another cartoon. It was the one cartoon. The one that made summer feel endless. The one where every episode felt like someone handed your imagination the keys and said go nuts. And you know what? It worked. But what if I told you that buried under all those catchy songs and good vibes, there's something else? Something the show never said out loud. And something that once you notice it, changes the way you see everything. This isn't the part of Phineas and Ferb you remember. It's the part you missed. Let's get into it. So before we get to the juicy theories and trauma flashbacks, let's talk about how this show even exists. Because honestly, it sounds like something Doofenshmirtz would make up in therapy. Here's the deal. Dan Povenmire and Jeff "Swampy" Marsh, two ex-Simpsons and Rocko's Modern Life animators, had this idea back in 1990. What if two stepbrothers built crazy stuff every day during summer vacation? Simple, repeatable, endless possibilities. But every network said no, over and over for 16 years. They finally got a pitch meeting with Disney, and instead of a traditional pilot, Dan and Jeff literally sang the episode over their own animated storyboards. And Disney was like, okay, weirdos, you win. What followed was a show that pretended to follow formula, but secretly rebelled against every cartoon rule in the book. How? Well, every episode had a musical number, and most of them slapped. It was written non-linearly with two stories, A and B plot, happening in parallel every time. Oh, yeah, and half the cast voiced by the creators themselves, on purpose, for budget reasons. But this wasn't just creative chaos. This show had a personal pain baked into it. And no one represented that more than the man, the myth, the worst gnome impersonator of all time, Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz. Let's talk about Dove's backstory. Because, yes, it's played for laughs. His parents didn't show up to his birth, he was raised by ocelots, he was forced to be a garden gnome. Funny on the surface, until you realize it's actually a cry for help in musical form. According to Dan Povenmire, Doverschmidt's childhood wasn't just made up nonsense. It was inspired by real experiences with neglect, rejection, and being ignored. He's a classic villain, but in reality, he's not evil, he's just deeply broken. Let's break it down. His parents neglect him, to a comical degree. Sure, but it mirrors real feelings of abandonment. His older brother becomes a mayor, while Dove gets shoved aside. Classic inferiority complex. Every innator he builds, a desperate cry to feel in control, to matter. Dove is a walking metaphor for kids who felt invisible growing up. And unlike most cartoons, Phineas and Ferb never gave him a clean resolution. Instead, it let him keep failing and keep trying, which is way more real than you expect from a guy who once tried to turn all Christmas trees into dust. And guess what? His story still isn't the darkest one. That title definitely goes to Candace. Alright, buckle up. Because this next theory definitely broke the internet, and I'm pretty sure by now you've all heard of it. The theory is simple and disturbing. Candace is hallucinating the entire show. Yeah, according to this fan theory, Phineas and Ferb aren't real, and all those wild inventions? Just illusions. And every time Candace tries to bust them, it's not because she's a telltale, it's because she's desperately hoping someone else can see what she sees. Someone who might confirm she's not losing her mind. And her mom, well, she never reacts, not because she's oblivious, but because there's literally nothing there. But it gets even darker. In the most viral version of this theory, Phineas and Ferb actually died in a tragic accident. And unable to cope with their deaths, Candace's mind created this summer fantasy. A world where her brothers are still alive and building something new every day. A world she can't let go of. This theory exploded online around 2011. Reddit threads, Tumblr blogs, YouTube deep dives. The internet couldn't get enough. Some versions of this story even claimed that the show was based on a real Russian girl's diary, where she documented hallucinations of her dead brothers before she was institutionalized. That part, totally fake. Completely debunked. But the core idea still haunts the fandom. And here's the twist, it kind of works. Candace constantly breaks down emotionally. Her mom is weirdly calm, always distracted, always brushing things off. The inventions always disappear before anyone else sees them, and even Perry's entire secret identity somehow never exposed to Candace. It's like she's trapped in a bubble where no one else is experiencing what she's going through. Even the show's opening theme, there's 104 days of summer vacation, start to feel less like a fun countdown and more like a desperate attempt to freeze time. Like she knows something is off, but no one else believes her. Is it canon? No. But is it one of the most compelling cartoon fan theories ever written? Probably yes. And the reason it works so well, because the show was already kind of broken in the best, weirdest way possible. Okay, now let's talk about what I like to call the Phineas and Ferb expanded conspiracy universe. Because once you start digging through fan forums, Reddit threads, and YouTube essays at 2 a.m., you start to realize something. This show is a conspiracy goldmine. Let's start with a classic. The theory that Doverschmerz is actually Phineas's real dad. I know, it sounds wild, but stay with me. First off, this one is built on actual show canon. Well, we know that Linda, Phineas's mom, used to date Dr. Doverschmerz. That's a real thing that happened. And yet, Phineas's biological father never mentioned, not once. It feels a little suspicious, doesn't it? And then there's the head shape. Yes, the head shape. Phineas has that iconic Dorito shaped dome. And Dove? Well, same energy. If you're a cartoon, that's basically a paternity test. That's not just fan fiction, that's Shakespearean. And the best part, Dan Povenmire, the co-creator and voice of Dove himself, has said in interviews that he loves this theory. He's even joked that it could be canon, if Disney would ever let them go that far. Now, let's go even deeper. There's another theory that flips the script entirely. What if Perry the Platypus isn't just a secret agent, but a rogue one? Hear me out. Think about how Perry operates. He never tells Phineas or Ferb anything. He disappears every episode, does some international espionage, and then slides back home like nothing happened. But what if he's not just following orders? Some fans believe Perry is actually going rogue, playing both sides, that he's manipulating Dove, misleading OWCA, and keeping Phineas and Ferb in the dark, on purpose. He's not a loyal agent, he's a freelance puppet master, like the Nick Fury of cartoon animals, except with more fur and less emotional range. Now, is that one as plausible? Probably not, but let's be honest, it kind of fits. Because if there's one thing the show proved over and over again, is that nobody, not even a platypus, is exactly who they seem. So here's the deal. Phineas and Ferb might have looked like a silly summer show for kids, but under the surface, it was smart, deep, and weird as hell. It had real emotional stakes, it tackled loss, failure, childhood neglect, and self worth, all while singing songs about eglets. It inspired dozens of conspiracy theories, creepypastas, and fanfics, and it never took itself too seriously. And that's the genius. It left just enough gaps for fans to fill in the blanks with chaos, creativity, and heartbreaking headcanons. In the end, Phineas and Ferb wasn't just a show, it was a sandbox for weirdos, and we built roller coasters in it. So, enough of that. What's your favorite Phineas and Ferb theory? Drop it down in the comments. I want to see how deep this rabbit hole actually goes. And if you made it this far in the video, you deserve a summer vacation yourself. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It would sure help me out a lot. Thank you for watching, and as always,